Whether Trump scribbled the words himself is unclear, but coming just 2 weeks after he had been hosted in great pomp at the Bastille Day military parade in Paris, it showed just how strong Franco-American ties were. While he has delivered on promises of change at home and is pushing his views in Europe, the world stage is proving tougher terrain. Like others before him, Macron has found predicting Trump a challenge. He played to Trump's admiration for the military and grandeur by inviting him to Paris for the annual July 14 celebrations and dining him at the Eiffel Tower. The soft diplomacy aimed to gain Trump's confidence and influence U.S. foreign policy at a time European diplomats say Washington lacks direction. Macron has spoken to Trump by phone in the last year more than with any other leader, including German Chancellor Angela Merkel, arguably becoming Trump's bridge to Europe. He is not a classic politician, Macron said in a January interview just days after Trump tweeted about nuclear war with North Korea and gave an ultimatum to fix the Iran nuclear deal. "We've built a strong relationship. We disagree on several topics. I'm always extremely direct and frank, and he is too. Sometimes I manage to convince him, sometimes I fail. The relationship has suited Trump." Besides, diplomats say that France's military role fighting Islamist militants in West Africa and Syria has opened doors in Washington. Tests on trade. Iran. The next 2 weeks will provide a critical test of what influence, if any, the French president can have on his American counterpart. Trump has given the European Union until May 1 to negotiate permanent exemptions from steel and aluminum tariffs, and France, Britain, and Germany until May 12 to fix the Iran nuclear deal with world powers. Macron has been trying to build alliances and wants to be the bridge between the US and Russia, said a senior former UN official. There comes a point where that kind of political messaging has to be backed up with results. Macron's desire to keep the 2015 Iran nuclear deal, while offering to be tough on Tehran's ballistic missile program and regional activities, has yet to assuage Trump. "We're hoping that Macron will find the arguments to convince Trump to not commit this mistake, but we're not very optimistic," said a French diplomatic source. Merkel coordination before a phone conversation on March 1 to discuss the war in Syria and Russian nuclear arms. The two leaders had not spoken to each other for more than 5 months. Rather than being subjected to a public dressing down, like Merkel over Germany's trade policy for example, Macron has been spared criticism. The French and German leaders meet in Berlin on Thursday to ensure they are on same page on Iran and trade ahead of their trips, a presidential source said. Macron's good relationship with Trump has had benefits. U.S. companies overtook German ones as the top corporate investors in the French economy last year, with U.S. investments up 26%. Although he failed to convince Trump to stay in the Paris climate deal, the U.S. president did not oppose Macron pushing for American firms and states to act on climate independently. Macron has been worried about Trump feeling backed into a corner and has sensed an opportunity to sway U.S. thinking and elevate France in global affairs, especially over Syria and the Middle East. However, Trump's unpredictability means that nobody knows whether a Macron factor really does exist. After French, British and U.S. strikes on Syrian government targets last week, Macron boasted publicly that he had persuaded Trump to maintain U.S. engagement in Syria for the long term. Within hours, he was met with a rebuke by the White House. "We've seen the decisions Trump made, but we don't know what decisions he could have taken if we hadn't had this dialogue," said a senior French official.